Hi, families. I want to give you an example of what a book introduction would look like for our small groups. Typically, I'd have a copy of the text in front of me as well as each one of the kids, and I don't. So I'm going to be doing some work on a whiteboard on my table. Sometimes I might write on a whiteboard, but the text is more effective because we want to make sure the kids have their fingers in the book and that they're matching the words to the print. So I'll try to guide you through what a book introduction will look like for Jack and Lily's favorite foods. It's an assigned book that many of you have this week, but the concepts of a book introduction are the same, and I can continue to do this for the next couple of weeks for each one of the books as we go, but I wanted to give you an example of the kinds of things we try to cover. I'd always introduce who the characters are in the story, particularly if their names are used, and we make sure that we point out what the names look like so when the kids come to them, they find them. As they're reading, if they get to a name and they're tripped up and they don't come up with the name right away, just give it to them. There's no rules about names, so it's just easier to give them the word, but we'll review it first. There's also a few trick words in this book that I'm going to give them and that I would give them in the book as they were reading as well. I wouldn't expect them to sound them out or to keep going. I would just give it to them and keep moving. We'll provide some clues about contexts and how to know how to attack some of the things that are in the book by understanding some of the concepts in this book. So with that, I will begin a mock book introduction for Jack and Lily's favorite foods. Hi, friends. Thanks for coming to the reading table today. We're going to be reading this book called Jack and Lily's Favorite Food. I'm pretty excited about it because it's about a cat, and you know that I love cats. The cat's name is Lily, and the boy's name is Jack. There's a picture of Jack and Lily together on the back cover. Can you find Jack's name? Yeah, there it is. Jack with a J. And how about Lily? Can you find her name? Lily. There it is. Lily's favorite food. Jack and Lily's favorite food. Well, I tell you what, Lily's actually a pretty picky eater, and she doesn't like to eat a lot of the same things that Jack likes to eat. We're going to find out a lot about what Jack likes to eat, and maybe near the end we'll find out what Lily likes, but she's pretty picky. Jack eats a lot of meat. Can you name some different kinds of meat that people eat? Chicken, yeah, that's one. Hamburger, okay, yeah. Turkey. How about pork? Do you know what pork is? Yeah, pork is one of the kinds of meat that Jack likes. He also likes beef and a fish that we know a lot about. He likes salmon. So we're going to find out about how Jack likes to eat chicken and beef and pork and salmon and even some tuna. Do you have a prediction about what Lily might like? Let's read and find out. But before we do that, I want to show you some of the words in this book that I think might be a little tricky. Turn to page 3. Find the word some on page 3. Yeah. In some ways, Jack and Lily are different. Find the word different. Yep. There it is at the bottom. Different. We won't see those words again in our book, but I want you to know about some other words that are in this book. Look at page 4. We know that Jack likes to eat some things, and I told you that Lily doesn't. Find the word doesn't. It's down there at the bottom. I want to show you something about that word. The author took the words does and not, Lily does not like those things, and shortened them. It's called a contraction. The author took does not, moved the N over, took the O out, put in the T, oops, and added an apostrophe, that little mark right there. Does not became doesn't. And it's right there on page 4 in your book. Turn to page 5. And we see it again. Lily doesn't like that meat either. It's on page 6, doesn't. Well, we're going to need to keep reading to find out what Jack likes and what Lily doesn't like. In some ways, they are different, but in some ways, they are the same. I want to show you that word some that we saw at the beginning of our book. I'm going to change just one of the letters. Let me make this one. What do you notice is different about those two words? Yeah, this one has an O, and this one has an A. This is some. Doesn't follow our rules. And in this one, it's same. This A says its name. Look carefully when you see this word in our book. Think about that A sound and make sure that it's different from the first time we saw the word some. They look similar. Let's read and find out what Jack and Lily like and what they don't like. So that's how I would basically do a book introduction in the classroom. Now, I do not expect you to do that at home with every book. It would be totally unnatural and not a good way to begin reading time at home. But I wanted you to have some context for how I would do it in the classroom so that you can know a little bit about what you can do when you're reading with your scholars at home. Things that you should give are names. You can always give a name. There's no reason for them to try to have to sound that out. Words that break phonetic rules. In the context of this book, the words some and same both appear, and the word some doesn't follow the same phonetic rules as same, so I wanted to be sure that I drew that distinction for them in the beginning, and I would call their attention to it as they got to the word in the book later. Tricky words, in this case, the words different and doesn't needed to be called out. While you're reading, you should try to prompt for comprehension first. Encourage your scholar to look at the picture and to think about what makes sense. Those words like beef and chicken, they might not get from the picture. The picture's not totally clear. There's the picture on the can of food, but once they sound out the initial sound and if they're thinking about what makes sense, they'll probably figure out those words on their own. If they don't get it immediately, then you can prompt for a little bit more. You can encourage them to take a closer look at the word tuna and turkey. They might guess either of those words, but if they're not looking all the way through the end of the word, they might not get the right word. So, quick recap: give names, tricky words, words that don't follow phonetic rules, and always try to prompt for comprehension before you prompt for phonics skills. Those should give you pretty good starts to working on reading at home. I'll see small reading groups and we'll give it our best shot. Thanks for following along.